everybody. My name is Maddie Jones, and I am the editor at Plus Model Magazine. And today I am so delighted to have Marla Wynne with us. She is the one that we are featuring during the October cover. You saw a beautiful Kathy Rosa on the cover. It is the Marla Wynne collection. Especially, we're super excited about the WynneDenim collection featuring, and it's coming out. When is it coming out, Marla? October 20th, right?
Yeah. I can't wait. I can't even speak. I'm so excited.
So for those of you that don't know Marla and I have been friends and colleagues for now a little bit over 7 years, right?
2016.
2016. How many years is that? I'm not good at math. 7 years. I thought you were going to say it feels like 26 years. I thought that's what you were going to say.
No, Maddie, honestly, there are people I've known, and knowing them has put age on me. Knowing you takes years away because you just fill my life with light and joy in that job.
So for those of you that don't know Marla, this is Marla, full of joy, full of life. Please tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, this is a really appropriate time to tell you a little bit about myself. And I always knew that all the lumps and bumps in my life would pay off and serve in some way, in a meaningful way. Right now, I think we all wake up every morning and go, oh, what's going to happen in this crazy world today? Is it going to be our economy? Is it going to be violence? Is somebody going to be bombing somebody else? Is like, who's shooting you? Who's taking right? Like every day, I don't care, Republican, Democrat, independent, white, yellow, black, green, blue, yellow, whatever we are, each of us, different things are pushing at us. And I can honestly tell you, in retrospect, it seemed like a really good time. But 2007, 2008 was a really bad time for a lot of us financially. The world as a whole wasn't so messy, but America was very messy then, if you remember, because we really had an economic meltdown. We had the housing bubble burst. And I got caught with my proverbial financial pants down because I got hit horribly. And when I talk to people right now, I really like to tell them about what happened to me because I'm not smarter than anybody. I might work harder than a lot of people, but it's not, I wasn't, born into the right family. I didn't have connections in the world that I have tried to traverse. So I think in many ways, I was very privileged to be born into the family I was, to have a great education, all that was privilege. But it was not my privilege to lose every penny I had earned in 2008. I had money in the market. I had a house that I could totally afford, except that the stock market crashed. I was a single mom, and I was in the entertainment business. And we went on strike in, I think it was October of 2007, and it was a 6-month strike. And in between all of that, the housing market crashed, the LA real estate, my house slid down. The value of my house slid down the mountain it was built on. And there was no work. I was out of work. I had 2 kids who annoyingly wanted to eat, go figure. And I really didn't know what to do. And so I'll tell you what I did. And, it's a very sort of high-class, privileged set of problems. But to me, it was a whole new set of problems, right? So I had this big, beautiful house. I had land. I had a pool. I fired the gardener. I drained the pool. And I had an extra bedroom in the house. And I brought in a boarder. And that boarder paid for my groceries because my portfolio was in the tank. The value of my house was in the tank. But, nobody... the cable company didn't want less money. The electricity, bill, the bills kept coming. And I had all my savings in the market. And so I had to drain what little I did have left to pay for the bills that I had. And I really don't know what went through my mind in retrospect, but I bought a sewing machine that I did not know how to thread. And I set up shop in my garage. I had always dreamt, like, if I was a TV producer and executive, and I lived all over the world. I had a really highfalutin, fancy schmancy life. And all of a sudden I found myself on my ample derriere in an industry that eats its young, let alone its menopausal. So in my early 50s, I bought a sewing machine. I Googled my career. And you know this is true, Maddie, because you've been around the people who were with me then. I arrived in New York City on a Greyhound bus, and I got news for you. I used to fly private planes, and all of a sudden, I'm on a Greyhound bus with not a dollar to my name, trying to raise two kids. I mean, it was insane. But
what made you what made you go that route?
Like, what made me do something incredibly stupid that I knew nothing about?
No, that's good. It's just with all the things that I'm pretty sure you're really good at. The fact that you didn't even know how to thread a machine, what made you make that decision?
Well, it was a process of elimination because all of my choices, Maddie, were really intelligent. So one of my ideas was to be a talk show host, but no one was coming after me for this, right? Mm-hmm. Now, people would probably pay to shut me up, but no one would pay to get me to talk. And then I thought, well, stand-up comedy would be good. But I had 2 young kids, and I thought, let's see, that's late nights and a lot of drugs and alcohol. I don't think that's the route to take. And I just and I had always thought if I wasn't making television shows, my mother is incredibly talented. She's like, if you've ever seen Henry Moore's sculpture, I mean, she's like very much that, very sensuous, beautiful bronze sculptures, amazing. And I always had her sort of creative bent, but not her talent. But I loved clothes. All I really knew when I started this company was how to buy clothes and how to wear them. But I figured if the little guy at the dry cleaners, you know, there's always some little man with the sewing machine who's like just sewing and making things and doing things. I thought, like, how hard could this be? Well, let me tell you, bloody darn hard. But I didn't know that. And ignorance certainly is bliss. And so I had always thought, well, if I'm not this or I'm not that, I think I would love to be a clothing designer. I actually didn't even know what that meant, Maddie. I didn't know. I didn't know nothing is what I knew. But there is this thing called the World Wide Web. Heard of it? And on the World Wide Web, there's this tool. It's called Google. And you ask Google a question, it gives you an answer. So I Googled things like how to thread a Singer blah, blah, blah sewing machine, or how to make a sketch, how to make a pattern. And I went out and I bought like Butterick patterns. And I laid them out. Oh, you mean I can't just use I got to get the right paper, I got to get this. How do you make a curved line? So I got the tools. I got a box full of sketching. Anyway, make a long story short, not to bore you. I Googled my career. I asked for a ton of help. I can tell you, I did depend on the kindness of strangers. I will tell you, help came from the most unexpected places and in the most amazing ways. Heartbreaking and uplifting stories, each and every one of them. But my story is really simple. Lost everything, found myself on my ample derriere, had to reinvent myself, didn't think about what if I fail. There was no option of failing. Failure was not an option.
So let's fast forward a little. So now, how long did it take you to get to HSN from when you started, from buying it?
Let's see. I bought it in 2007, and I had my first little launch in 2010.
Oh my gosh, that's quick.
End of 2009, maybe. And then that was going along swimmingly. But then what happened? God, it's been so long. There was a start and stop. And I had moved from my initial manufacturer was based out of LA, and in the housing, when he was heavily invested in real estate. When the market fell apart, the LA real market, he just pulled out. Real estate fell, he was out. So I took my purchase orders and got everything pushed back, found a manufacturer in LA. They made my stuff. then that was not sustainable. And I ended up moving to Montreal and selling my teeny company for like a salary, basically. Went there and they manufactured for me. And then I ended up coming back to the US. So 2012 was the real launch. So, starting a business is like, hurry up and wait. Which, by the way, the entertainment industry, that's the perfect training.
Yeah.
People think making movies and TV shows is exciting. You could knit a blanket to cover the planet with all the starts and stops that you have when you're doing a series or a movie, because it's all setup time.
So since we're talking about your business, and I know that there's a lot of small business owners that are going to watch this, or read your interview that we have on Plus Model Mag, or people that are really interested in starting, and it looks like a scary time. And it's always a scary time.
It's the right time, though.
All right. So tell us why you think it's the right time, and what would be your tips for anyone starting out?
I'm the nabob of negativity, which means I do think we're going to hit a recession. I think things are going to be tough. People will lose their jobs. There will be both opportunity and challenges. But there's something I call collateral beauty. And collateral beauty is that thing that you find in the worst of circumstances that brings out the best of us. So, you know how people say sink or swim? Mm-hmm. I'm not thinking, I'm going to swim. So if you're a swimmer, it's a really good, like, no matter what's happening, you can figure it out, right? But here are my golden rules. First of all, accept where you are. Don't BS yourself. Like, take a real reality check. Mm-hmm. Check in with your spouse, your partner, check in with your kids. Really reflect on what your familial responsibilities are that you cannot shirk. Because starting a business involves a level of determination and focus that you cannot even imagine. You will work harder for no money in the beginning, right? So it's great. Like I remember the first year I was doing this. I mean, I made nothing, and I still had to run my life and be there for my kids. And although I think I was actually in many ways a horrible mother at that time because I was so scared. And the last thing you really want your kids to see is fear. But when you're not sure how you're going to feed them, it's scary. So I would say, do your homework. People will write to me and they'll say, I want to start a business. What do you want to do? Well, I'm going to make cookies. And I'm like, great. How are you going to scale the business? How many can you make a day? What's your unit cost? What's your packaging? Like, there are all these costs. Like, a business plan is absolutely necessary. You cannot wish a business into existence. You are going to work it into existence. And I will tell you, and you know this because I send you emails that, you're in New York and I'm in Denver. So I'm sending you emails all the time at midnight or 2 a.m. because I'm up, not that I expect anybody to respond to me, but that's what running a business is. So do your homework. First, a reality check. Mm-hmm. Do your homework. And then here's the hardest thing to do. Reach out. Be vulnerable. It's not a comfortable place. Just thinking back to how scared I was still puts me in tears. Mm-hmm. The hardest thing in the world is to say, I fumbled. I'm having a tough time, but I have a vision. I know what I want to do. And I'd like to ask for your advice. And when you go to meet with somebody, you need to know what your 3 asks are when you walk into that room. And one of them should be, who else can I talk to? Who else can I talk to? Every meeting's like meeting with the genie in the magic bottle, Mm-hmm. You have 3 wishes. You have to use one of them to ask who else, so that you now have your next list and your next list and your next list. You have 2 questions. And don't go meet somebody and not do your homework. Who are they? What do they do? Read the press on them. Why should I take time out of my busy day to give you my time if you haven't even figured out why you're here talking to me? And show those people the respect of understanding who they are, what they do, because they're going to be happy to tell you what you ask for, to give you advice, to offer a contact. But don't make them do all the heavy lifting and figure out what they can do for you. Know what you want going in. That's my advice. That's it.
Those are gems that I wish I knew 16 years ago. Yeah.
You did okay, Maddie. You did okay.
Wow. So we are celebrating, the reason why we have Kathy on the cover, we're celebrating your WynneDenim launch on HSN October 20th. I'm super excited. I was at the initial photo shoot. So I have tried on and pranced around in front of the camera in your jeans, which are fantastic. And you gave us a really great kind of like insight into your denim with our written interview with you on Plus Model Mag. Could you talk to us about the launch? Talk to us about denim, because denim seems to be the one thing that everyone across the board, whether you're tall or short or big or small, or whatever shape you are, everyone has such a tough time shopping for denim. So talk to us about denim and specifically about your denim.
So it's really funny because we just did our first post yesterday and women were writing in saying, well, the images of all the women seemed really small and we couldn't tell like whether they should be wearing a boot cut or a straight leg or this or that. And I thought, I love this comment because we shot the jeans on a size 2 petite to a 24 tall. Every single woman, same jean, Maddie. So what did I want? I wanted to solve that problem. Like, why does it take me, and there's bras, bathing suits, and jeans. Bottoms, any kind of anything that involves taking off my pants that I'm willing to speak about. You know, I don't want to do it, right? Like, so I don't like going into stores and taking my pants off inside. It's not a comfortable feeling. And then you're up, down, wiggle into it. And then you buy the darn things, you get them home, you sit in front of a Zoom and you stand up and it looks like you got a sack of potatoes in your derriere. You know, because they're all stretched out and, oh, great, if I wash them, they recover. Who cares? I don't want them to bag out in the first. Like, why would anyone want to wear something that you'll wear it and while you're wearing it, it'll look worse and worse and worse, but then you can wash it and it'll look better. That is like dumb.
Right.
That is to be stupid. So I started asking questions, and I refer to as my many meetings with jean manufacturers as like a fairy tale, right? Like I knew exactly what the Prince Charming of jeans should be like, but I had to kiss a whole ton of like denim head frogs. And it was tough because it was like, well, but at your price point, well, but at this, but at that. So there's this world called premium denim. Premium denim are those jeans you see for 200, 2 1/4, 248, 3 1/4. Those jeans? Really? I want cashmere for that price. And I want cashmere that doesn't pill for that price. Right. So I was like, well, why? So premium denim tends to be chief value cotton, which our denim is, because cotton gets softer and softer over time. It's wonderful. And the way in which denim is woven, it's a very durable fabric. I mean, it was really, Levi Strauss started making coveralls for guys working in mines and on the railroads and, you know, not little princesses in the suburbs going to the local, you know, grocery store.
Right.
And so I thought, well, okay, great about the cotton, but if it doesn't have stretch in it, I'm not wearing it. But a lot of the less expensive jeans had a gummy feeling to them. Do you know what I mean? Spongy, gummy. And yes, they had a lot of stretch, and I could like, you know, like I just had lox bagels and cream cheese for lunch, not exactly on my, you know, keto diet. And, you know, so I need things that go up and down with my weight. I can vary by 5 or 6 pounds in 2 weeks, up, down, but kind of within there. Well, I don't want different pairs of jeans for different weight, but I don't want so much stretch that they have that gummy feeling. And what makes it feel gummy is usually how much spandex is in them. And it's actually not about the spandex that's going to make it stretch and recover. It's about how it's woven and the balance of fibers. So my goals were, I want jeans that really will fit everyone, which means they need a bit of stretch. They had to have the right rise so that I could do the right thing from a plus customer to a petite customer, right? I wanted to do something different because there is so much denim out there and everybody's got whiskers and the, what do you call it? You know, the distress thing. I thought everybody has that. I'm going to do a very elegant jean. And as you'll remember, mine are very saturated colors. I don't do contrast stitching. The pockets are like a deep L, which gives you a really nice narrowing effect at the waist. But the secret's inside my pants. Because what I did, this is not meant for children. Maddie, you've got a filthy mind. I didn't say anything bad there. You just went there. So here's what's in my pants. There is an elastic waistband, because if you're a pear-shaped woman, you need the stretch to hit your curves, but your waist is small. And so what happens is 9 times out of I call it plumber's tushy, you know, like when you bend over a little, not a good look on anyone, including my plumber. And so the elastic holds you in, okay? Then the next thing we did is we did from the center zipper to the outside seam pocketing. Now you've seen that before. There's other brands that do it, but I've always felt like I don't think it does anything. So I used a woven. So it really holds you across there. And then on top of it, we did quilted stitching. They gave it, because it's cotton and cotton stretches. So I wanted to make sure it didn't stretch out of shape so that you get a nice hold, but it doesn't feel like we're in shapewear. It just feels like a premium denim, like it's holding you. There's stretch in the right places, but holding you where you need it. Right. And then we did something else that I think is really important. Nobody has ever come to me in anything I make and says to me, like, could you give me shorter, stubby legs? So I know elongated legs is always something, you know, it's with the slits I do on the side, and all, you know, my stuff, I do it. Well, in premium denim, if you turn a premium denim, pair of denim inside out, you're going to see that it's what's called a busted seam. So if this is your fabric, it's flat, it's laying flat, and it's pressed. Why do you care? Do you ever take off your jeans and have a nice little mark along the side of your, that's because you're not wearing premium denim. And what's happened is they're using a marrow stitch and they're closing it up, and you've got this big lumpy seam along the leg. So when you look at the side, now you've retouched photos in your day, we all do. And you notice how sometimes you look at a pant leg and it's like this, and you're like, ugh, what? I didn't notice that, right? When you have a flat seam that's pressed, it's going to slide over any of our lumps and bumps. It's going to move with us. So we did that flat busted seam, and it's twice the work, because instead of just sewing up the 2 pieces together and getting that lumpy bumpy thing, you got to sew each piece of the fabric and sew it together and then press it. So those were important things. The way that our fabric is woven is quite unique. And yes, I wanted to know, before I got on TV and opened up my big mouth and raved about my jeans, when I would say this will fit everybody, you were there. There was like May, who's like, I don't know, like a little lawn gnome. She's this teeny tiny little thing. She was a figure skater. And I think she wears a size 8, and she's teeny woman. Fit her. And they fit Sharon, who was close to 6 feet tall and very curvy, right? Yeah. So our jeans, not everybody will like them. I know that going in, but they will fit everybody. And I love that. I don't know too many companies that can say that. And mine are not the cheap and chirp. They aren't the cheapest jeans in the world, but they're certainly well under $100. But I will tell you, in a store, you would be paying probably $150, $160 or more for these jeans, because we took the best of premium denim. We really thought about what women need. And these jeans were designed by a team of women who went, why is it so hard for me to find a pair of jeans that fit?
That's what I love most. I love that your team, is women of all shapes and sizes. And I do feel...
Let's be honest.
And Pedro, yes, and Pedro. And Pedro. Yeah. Right. Shout out to Pedro. But I also feel like you did take like the best qualities of premium denim and put it all together into your denim, and then, created it in a way that we can afford it. Because honestly, who's buying $160, $250 denim in this current climate? Not many of us. So I love that about you. And speaking of the shoot, because I was there at the first photo shoot, I was so excited. It was so great. So one of the things that, you and I have talked about for many, many years, that we've had very extensive conversations and very open conversations about size, because living in a plus size body all of my life, I'm able to speak about it very frankly. I'm not shy about my size, my weight, my ups, my downs. But you didn't have to. As a designer and someone that is so, well known, your brand is one of the top brands at HSN. You didn't have to go after, you didn't have to study. Like what you said in the very beginning, when you want to do something, you study, you do your homework. You did that. You were like, okay, I'm going to sell plus size, but I need to know what she wants. Why does she want it? How does she feel? And I can tell you, for those of you that are listening, she hammered me with questions.
I was going to say, you were my professor. You were my professor.
She went to every event that I invited her. I was like, there's an event on Friday night, this show, whatever. Here she was in her Marla Wynne vest at the event with me, my plus one. Like, she went to every event, every conversation that we had, everything. Like, this wasn't like, oh, okay, I'm going to put, time in for a year. This was years, Saturdays, Sundays, mornings, nights, anytime. Like, when I tell you, when you said in the beginning homework, it literally brought me back to that. Like, you did your homework when it came to plus size. And, we worked together at Plus Model Mag, and we did the Everybody model search, which was fantastic. We found, Mira, and we did a really great, shoot with both winners. We had such a great time, but you didn't have to put so much effort into it, and you did. Your answer, your written answer, and I don't know if you remember everything that you wrote, but it was so good. And I would love for you to lean on that answer that you touched upon at Plus Model Mag, because your passion for us was not just money. Yes, we're all in business. We all want to make money, but it wasn't that. It was something completely different.
There's this thing called inclusivity. Have you heard about that? So the whole notion of inclusivity, that we even have this word, annoys me. Why would we have exclusivity? Why would we as human beings ever start a business and say, I would like to specifically not target, depending on where you think plus starts, 67 to 72% of all women? Why would you say, I want something? Well, I guess if you want to build a business that's just about you, that's great, but I don't think you'll be terribly successful. So for me, it was, I think, a philosophy and a way of being in my world. My world is multicolored, multiracial. There isn't an ethnicity that hasn't dined at my table. There isn't a religion that I am not interested in. I am genuinely interested in the world around me and in the business that I'm in. And it seems so stupid to make clothes for the most obvious segment. So it was a business decision in some ways, Maddie, but it also came out of who I am. I mean, you and I have been friends for 7 years now, or 10 years, whatever, long times, but at least 7. And I think because you've been at my home, you've met my friends, you've been at events I give at my home, and you know that you can meet somebody who got there on a private plane, and you could meet somebody at my house who couldn't even afford the subway. And if they had told me, then I probably would have said, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it. But I am interested in people. And I was extremely interested in this industry. And I really didn't understand how I could even consider being in this industry without embracing the subsector of species, which is anyone with a vagina. So I just wanted to fully, people, let me tell you something about Maddie. She's acting no. She's not really embarrassed. It's just, she can't believe that I use words. Now, look, can we just discuss something? I was on the air the other day, and I had the ear thing in my, those ear things that they put on set. So what happens is I turn my head and the piece fell out, but the little nubby thing is still in my ear. And the guy says, I think her ear nipple fell out. Ear nipple? And so I'm on air And I just go, excuse me, can we just stop? What is an air nipple? This man just said over there that this thing fell out of me. And they're like, you can't say the word nipple. And I go, somebody just told me I can't say the word nipple on air. Why? Men have them, women have them. My dog has them. Why as human beings, do we get so freaked out about a nipple of a vagina? We all have them.
I'm going to have this entire amazing interview, and all anyone is going to talk about is that Marla said nipple on TV. Watch. That's exactly what's going to happen.
What is the thing? Like, is it a surprise, a nipple?
I know.
Because it's such a fun word to say, nipple. It's fun.
It doesn't surprise me from you. That I know. Because whenever I watch you, I'm like, let's see what happens tonight.
You know, there's a little expression on HSN, or at least there used to be, because something will happen and I'll just like at some point in the hour, I've been talking for an hour and a half about shirts. I mean, seriously. And there's just a moment where I flip and I go rogue, as it is known. And, I could tell stories about my parents, my dog, nipples. You never know. But this is why I love what I do. It is why I love what I do so much, Maddie. And it's why, to bring things full circle, I knew when I started this journey that this was my second act and maybe my last act. I will be celebrating 67 years on this planet next month. And the thing is, I'm nowhere near done. And I knew that whatever I did after the entertainment industry, I had to love, because it was going to take me more energy. I knew I was going to work long hours starting my own business. And I knew I was partially insane. And, there was a possibility of being committed, that I even thought I could do this in the first place. But I will tell you that my journey with Plus women was, we all have different shapes and bodies, and we all have different taste levels, and I won't please everybody for sure. But at least if I'm going to try and sell to you, then I want to understand your journey in this plus size person that you are, in the same way that I want to understand a petite woman's journey. Do you know that some of the strongest, most outgoing, huge personalities that I've met have come in these little petite women? And I started to learn their journey, which is, don't underestimate me because I'm small. Don't ignore me because I take up less space. I have a brain, I have a mouth, I have intelligence, and I am here. You taught me I may be a plus size woman, but I am loved. I love my curves. I accept my body. I accept who I am. And I'll tell you what, as just a plain old kind of sitting in the middle, regular size woman, you actually helped me appreciate being in my own skin, right? And you taught me to see the beauty in your curves. Hey folks, I've been in a room naked with Madeline Jones, okay? I mean, this woman's been down to her like panties and bra, okay? And so have I. And we've seen oh, look at my stretch marks, Maddie. That's 2 kids in your late 30s. This is this is Maddie and I when we're not really being very impressive or public. I just outed you, Madeline. But here's the thing. I didn't know how to view plus size women. I knew how to view a Barbie doll because I was raised to want to be that and failed miserably. And what you taught me, and it's not lip service, and I think it's true, in my own adventures in weight, this is who I am. And I'm going to take up as much space as I require at any given time, because I am not just my nipples. I am an entire being. I'm not just a woman. I am a brain. I am laughter. I am sadness. I am drama. I am a pain in the ass. I'm smart. I have my stupid choices. My curves change. The estrogen and like, look at that. It sticks
my
together.
Skin change.
Right? Oh. Everything changes. And what you gave me was the gift of feeling okay. So see this, it's never going to go away. I could have it removed. It used to be up there. Pretty soon it'll slip under there. And I'm getting spots on my hands and veins are showing. And if I wanted to spend the rest of my life judging me by some standard, then I'm going to be unhappy till the day I die. And you taught me to accept myself for the standard I set for me. And so for that, my darling, I thank you.
Thank you so much, Marla. Thank you. That means a lot to me because that's literally my life's work. For people to just love themselves where they are and meet yourself where you are and allow yourself, you know, those moments to breathe. You know, I'm going to be 50 next week, and I know part of me is like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm going to get the other part of me.
Wait till AAR. Yeah,
they already started.
Right? I remember I got that magazine and I like threw it down the driveway. And now I actually find it interesting. You know, there's certain supplements you may want to consider.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, our friend Tamsin Fidel, I'm obsessed. She gives such great advice. She's the best. Oh my gosh. I tell everyone that's my age, I tell everyone to follow her. She's so fantastic at taking that fear. And I think that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to take people through the process. You know, if you don't know what it's like to live in a plus size body, I wanted you to take the fear out of it. You don't have to be afraid to ask me any questions. You've asked me all sorts of questions. And you know, you have, in order for people to learn what it's like to be in this plus size body and to live in this world and to really know it genuinely, I feel like it's our responsibility to also be open and honest and not sugarcoat it and put a filter on it. You know, so there are good days, there are bad days, just like everyone else. And I also feel like it's part of the education process, not only for the designer, but also for your customer. Because once you know, and once you're able to engage with her, now she knows that you see her. And when a designer sees the customer, she feels loved. She feels honored.
You know, one of my favorite stories is a woman who's very distinguished woman in New York City, very accomplished, very successful. And she asked if she could come meet me. Oh, so she comes to meet me, and she's about 6'something, tall, beautiful woman. She comes in, she's got Marla Wynne all on her top and everything. And on the bottom, I kid you not, she was wearing what I can only describe as man pants. Man pants. Like trousers. And I'm like, this is like party on the top. What the heck is on the bottom? And, you know, like, and beautiful shoes, but man pants. And I go, why are you wearing those? And she goes, I have very ugly ankles. And I said, so let me get this straight. For this much body, you're covering up this much body with something. No. So I said to her, I'm going to make you a deal. Don't you, by the way, love that I have Uggs on? Like I look so good, right? Party on the top, Uggs on the bottom. I got news for you. Okay. So anyway, I said to her, I'm going to make a deal with you. We're going to try on pants. I put her in my flatter fits. I think that was one you tried
for me.
And I said, so you think that when you walk into a room, the first thing people do is go, oh, look at her ankles. I said, okay, that's for therapy. You go to therapy, okay? And you see someone about that because you're 6 feet tall. And I took out my tape measurer because I always have one near me. And I went like this. I went, yeah, let's see what, okay, your legs and let's see your ankles. Let's see, that's the part of you don't like, that? You're 6 feet tall. You think anybody's noticing those 7 inches? And I said, I'm going to give you a pant wardrobe and you are leaving those ugly man pants here. And she left my house without her pants. Just like you want, just like by the way, so Madeline, first time I ever meet this woman, she like comes over to my house and you were wearing jeans, white jeans, middle of the summer. And I touched them and I went, oh, these feel like tenting material. Like, why?
But you know, everybody that's plus size know when you're going to wear white jeans, they have to be a little bit thicker. You know what I mean?
Really, just so that really
not anymore. Not after that day. I didn't leave my jeans. I almost did. Probably would have burned them.
I would have burned. No, I could have like used them to, I don't know what, but like I said to Maddie, no, you don't have to wear something that's thick. And I put you in the flatter fits, which are thin.
They are. They're like paper thin, like this. And I literally, the first thing I did was like, this lady's crazy. I'm about to not walking out here looking like I'm naked because they were this paper thin. And then I put them on and she had a big closet with mirrors on them. And I stood in front and I was like, oh my God, they look amazing. Oh my God, they fit so great. Oh my, I was like, okay, so I'm staying. I literally left with them on.
Yes, she literally did. But she also took her original pants with her.
I did.
But my point is, like, it's also about understanding where to look and what really are our icky bits or our problems.
What happened to the lady with the chocolate pants? So she left left her pants and she took your pants?
All new pants.
Wow. Oh my God.
Because you know what? And then she sent me, as time went on, she lost a little weight. She said, nobody has ever commented on my ankles. And she sent me a picture once, she was wearing a cropped pant. And I just thought, isn't it? Now, here's the nutty thing. Like, sometimes I feel like I'm in the, like during COVID and the economic crisis and this and that, and you feel like, and what do you do for a living? I save people. I build water wells. I'm curing cancer. I make shirts, and you feel kind of like stupid. But every once in a while, I get somebody like that who literally never feels good in their own skin, over 7 inches of ankle and whatever. And you realize, wow, things can be transformative. But not if what your objective is to cover it up.
Exactly.
And so my point in that very long-winded story was, covering up what you are does not work. Embracing what you are does. Now, there's different ways of taking advantage of who we are and what we are, but it comes through the aperture of your own eye and your taste level, what you like and what you don't like. I'm sure there are people who look at me when I walk down the street and go, just like, that woman needs help. And there's times when I look at people and think, could I just have you for about an hour? I want to rock your world here. I'm going to change your wardrobe. But the fact of the matter is, I don't care if you want to wear a tutu or a burqa. It's like, whatever you feel good in, you should have the right to do.
Yes. Wear what you love. That's one of my favorites.
Love what you wear.
I say that all the time. Yeah. So thank you so much, Marla. This is a fantastic interview. I can't wait to put it out.
I would totally edit out half of it. But if you don't, I apologize to all of you who are offended by the word nipple.
You know who's going to love this? The person who's going to edit this. They're going to love it. Thank you so much. And I will see you soon. Bye.
Bye.